Hey, I'm Lyra Star. I am a singer-songwriter living here in LA. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for being on the video sessions or whatever I call it. So how do you let's talk about your upbringing first of all. How did you get into music in particular?
Well, I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, so that's music city in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing music or doing songwriting until about maybe like 5 years ago when I was living in Santa Rosa. I played music all my life. I mean, my mom made me and my brothers, she made all of us take piano lessons when we were in like when I was in 3rd grade. I took piano lessons and did that for a while, and then I was a brat and I was like, I don't want to play classical music. I didn't like being at home. I didn't like having to play these things.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like went away from it, and then I guess I was in middle school, like 5th grade. I went and I got Tori Amos's album, Little Earthquakes, and it was like life-changing for me. I was like, whoa, what she's doing on the piano is cool. And so then I started sounding out, you know, her songs, and then kind of just like writing my own compositions. So I would say like I'd been sort of dabbling in that whole like creating music from a young age, but never really seriously started to kind of look at it until about 5 years ago when I was living in Santa Rosa. I just sort of like one day I was like, I need to pick up my guitar again, because I took guitar lessons for a bit when I was in high school as well. Like I went back to piano and studied with a teacher that was doing composition, so that she could help me with that a bit. And then I picked up the guitar because it's, you know, I don't know, I was like, ooh, I want to learn the guitar. My mom had an old guitar that she never used. But anyways, yeah, so like 5 years ago, something in me was like, I need to like write songs. I have no idea like what it was, you know, and so I just picked up my guitar and like, you know, I started kind of messing around with some songs and some lyrics, which I had done some in college, but never, and I played at like an open mic at my college, but it was never like a serious, it was just kind of, I went to a lot of shows, like I would go out all the time to hear live music, like I love going to shows, but I never like wasn't seriously pursuing my own stuff. And then I had a friend in Santa Rosa when I was like, oh, I want to, like I went to this party and this guy, Josh, was like, well, you should go play at an open mic night. And I was like, no, that's terrifying. And it was terrifying, but then I was like, maybe I should go do it. And I went and played one, and I had a bunch of friends come out and support me, and it was really nice. But oh my God, my voice was shaking. I was so scared, like it, you know, but then something in me was kind of like, you keep going, like keep doing this, like keep playing those. So I just continued to play open mics.
Is that the first time that you played like for an audience?
Really, I mean, I played, like I said, I did one in college at my school, but it's not the same. This was the first time I'd gone to like a public place and played live in front of like an audience. Yeah, that was a big stepping stone, and it was really scary. And I was like, this is,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But did you love it though, and that's why you continued?
I wouldn't say I loved the performance part, but I love music with all, like I love music, and I have to have music in my life. Yeah. And I also felt like I had something to say with my songs. Like songwriting is very cathartic for me. But I was just like, well, you need to keep performing because you have something to say, and you got to get over this whole like fear factor, you know? I think it's just been a process over the years of letting go of my fear, a lot of it, you know, and just like being this shy little person.
That's half the battle.
Like hides in the corner. Yeah. It's like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. And it's like, now I'm in LA and you can't be like that and like do anything in LA. Anything. Like not even, I'm a yoga teacher, and like you can't be like, I teach yoga. Like, you have to be like, hey, I'm an instructor, I do this, I do that, here's a business card.
Gotta
like,
promote, market, all of that.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's really good to be here as an artist because it's full of talent and creative people. So, but it took me a long time to work up to even, like, I would never have even considered moving to LA. I went to school down here, not here, but in Claremont, which is like an hour away. Okay. Yeah, so, but I just, and then I had been out. I left pretty much after I graduated college, and so I never would have thought that I would move here.
What made you, like, what was the decision-making process to move here?
I released my first album in March of this year. My whole life I'd worked in education with kids as a teacher, and it's exhausting. I couldn't do it all. Like I was finding I was like, I can't do all of the things. I was like, I can't teach these kids and teach yoga and have enough energy at the end of the day to like do my songwriting and book shows. Like I was like, I need a more flex. When you work at a school, like you've got like a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
You have to be at a certain place every day. You get such a guilt trip if you ever have to like call in sick or you need a sub for anything. It's like the worst. But yeah, I think I just faced really big burnout with my job as an educator. And I was like, something has to change. And where I lived in Marin, I wasn't in San Francisco. I was in Marin, which is just north of the city. There's like nothing going on there.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was like, why are you trying to play music here? And I was like, I don't know. And then I kind of like checked myself and I was like, I don't know. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And I went back to Nashville in April actually, because I was like, well, maybe I'll move back to Nashville. But I played some writers' nights there, but it's really, I felt slightly out of place with my songs a little bit because it's very country heavy there. I mean, it's not fully country, like, there's so much music there regardless, but there's a lot of blues, country, and folk, and mine is not really necessarily like in one of those categories per se. Like I was the only one at the Bluebird Cafe that did not have an acoustic guitar. Like I was up there with my ukulele and I was like, hello.
Yeah.
You know, and it felt like it was just very, like Bluebird especially was like this very kind of, I don't know, not a snobby vibe, but like it was its own thing. And people in Nashville go to like write the hit songs and they're like always writing songs. And for me, I'm like, well, I kind of like want to also perform my songs and like, you know, be an artist that goes and plays shows and everything. And that's not what everyone goes to Nashville for necessarily. Needless to say, I was there for 10 days and I was like, I had visited LA in February because my friend wanted me to come down here and teach yoga. And there's a huge yoga scene here. And I think that was kind of the thing. I was like, well, there's more yoga in LA, so there's more opportunities for that. And then also there's just more of a wide, eclectic mix of, as far as music goes. Like, I was just like, I felt more like I would be more, I don't know, I felt better here as far as like the music stuff went.
Yeah.
When I played open mic nights here, I was like, oh, like this is, you know, there's like a wide variety. There's people doing like performance art and like stuff on, because I have some stuff that I've done on like a loop pedal. If I had brought that out in Nashville, people would have been like,
oh really?
At least at those writers' nights, yeah, like those would have been, I mean, people, they're just more traditional. It's just a different culture. It's a little bit different. It's not that they would hate it, but there's definitely that like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, why do you have this thing and you're, you know.
Yeah, it's just not how it goes in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's a different.
I mean, you can. I think there's some great, especially in East Nashville, like, there's a lot of great venues where I think that would be well received. Maybe not at the open mic / writers' nights. Although I went to one in Franklin that was super fun at Kimbrough's Pick and Parlor. That was a really fun open mic night. It was, like, much more, like, laid back, and there was more of an eclectic mix of performers.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Tori Amos, so she's a musical inspiration for you. Who are your other musical inspirations?
Oh, that's such a hard question. There's so much music. I mean, I don't know. And on my album, I realize it's pretty like an eclectic kind of mix of genres, even like from my songs. Yeah, I like jazz. I mean, I like kind of that like circusy sort of like vaudevillian style, kind of like old jazz. Like I used to listen to jazz a lot. Radiohead's one of my favorite artists. It's Tori Amos, Radiohead. I really like Bjork. I really like interesting, I mean, I like a lot of, I don't even know music categories, like indie music, but I also like very pared down stuff like Cat Power and Azure Ray that are just like very focused on like the vocals. Yeah. And like some minimal instruments. So it's like I kind of like the range of all of it. Like I appreciate things about all those different artists. I mean, I also enjoy artists like Beck and I don't know. I think what I like about Radiohead is that they kind of like push the edge and they're always like each album is so unique and it's so different. And it's like they have such like if you look at what they're doing now versus what they did on Pablo Honey, like that was a great album in and of itself, and then they just like progressed through this whole other I don't know. And I'm a huge classic rock fan too. I mean, I used to listen to Led Zeppelin all the time, so you know, I appreciate all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, as far as influences for my stuff, I would say more like Tori Amos, maybe Imogen Heap, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, Azure Ray, Cat Power, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As far as like my
I totally get that
sound
from
goes.
listening to your
Yeah.
EP. Yeah.
Dido a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
For sure.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So your EP, so you released that last year. This year,
I
March.
know. It's
Sorry,
not
last year.
2009.
It's December.
It's New Year's
I'm
Eve.
already in 2019. Okay, let's cut that out. So what's your favorite song off that album?
I think Devil's Game is probably my favorite song. It's just, I really like it. It's a fun and playful song, and I really like all the instrumentation in it. I mean, I knew a lot of people in Sonoma County when I lived up there that could play these really unique instruments like accordion and trombone. And so I was like, come in and like record for this song. And then I had the violin player that I used to play with do some stuff. And then the producer just did a fantastic job with, he did a great job with arrangements throughout the album. But yeah, that song I think is my favorite because it's the most fun. Yeah, and it's a little different, you know, it's not like, it's a little different. It's like a story. It's like
there was a lot going on in that song.
Yeah. So
what was your inspiration for writing that song? Or
I don't know. Some of these songs, I literally don't know where they come from. I think I had a very active imagination when I was a kid. And I was really into creative writing, like, throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
And I used to just, like, when I would write lyrics, it would mostly just be like, I wrote this poem. And there's not really any rhyme or rhythm to it. But I'm going to put some music to it and just think that that was a song. And it is, but like if you really, I feel like I've honed my art and craft as a songwriter, like to this, because there's a craft to like making a song, you know, and I feel like over the last, at least in the last like 2 years, I really kind of figured that out a little bit more. But yeah, sometimes I just have these like stories or images that come to my mind, and sometimes a song comes out of them, and it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm whining about my heart getting broken. I'm like, I kind of have this image of this character, and it needs to come out in a story in some way. And that's like, yeah, I don't know. I had an image of this like devil-like character, and I don't really know where it came from. I mean, Waltz is another song where I had that's like about a ghost in a lighthouse. You know, like I just have stories in my head sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I get them out. Like instead of crafting poetry now, I guess I just do it through the music.
Yeah, so. That's awesome. It's just a different way of writing, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that stuff.
Yeah, I try not to push the process too much, but like I was saying, people in Nashville and people that go and like do the whole I gotta write a hit song. Like they're always writing songs, and I think they sit down, they're like, well, I gotta write a song for this thing, like a commercial, or like I gotta, you know. And for me, it's like they come when they come, and I go through phases of not writing, and then sometimes phases where I'm like in a creative mode.
Yeah.
Like right now, I have like 3 or 4 songs that I've been working on, but I only have like little bits and pieces, and they're not finished. But I'm not gonna be like, I gotta sit down and finish this song now. You can't force it. I don't personally force it. Yeah. So maybe I should. I don't know. So
people in Nashville force their songwriting?
Not everyone.
Not everybody.
People that are there for the biz, like that side of it, they're there to write songs. They want to always be working to write a song because they might not necessarily want to perform it themselves, but they want to like sell it. Like they want to sell it to someone for something, and so it's like they're always writing songs. Wow. Like they're constantly, that's like they're in the business of songwriting, and so it's like constantly like it's been a learning process, even like booking shows and figuring out where I can play and where where it's like not a good idea to play, because some of these venues that really they require that you bring a draw, and if you don't, you will pay them.
Oh my god!
Like I
pay to play.
I almost like, it's like you can promote the shit out of your shows. Yeah. And you can have people that say they're going to come, but they might bail at the last minute. There's so much going on in this city, and like people get tired, maybe they need to rest, and they ended up they can't go out. Like who knows, Yeah. So yeah, it's a learning curve for sure. Yeah. And it's very difficult to gauge like your draw and stuff. Yeah. And like as a booker, it's
I'm
I know
having
you
very
must deal with
similar
that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, like trying to find venues and then trying to find artists and then not like I want to like I think this is my interview now. Like I want to like book artists that are really good and I do, but they don't bring a draw. And then so I have to like constantly have this conversation with myself like should I book them even though they're not bringing anybody because they're so goddamn talented. Yeah. So it's okay. I might cut this out too.
That's hard. It's hard to know because there are a lot of really talented people out there that may not bring a crowd. And it's like, I actually went to a show at Bar Lubitsch and this chick that opened the night was really great. And there were like 4 people in there. Yeah. There's obviously a process to building up like a fan base that I have not figured out yet. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great venue too though. I'm playing there again in February. That's a nice thing to do though is like if you can find venues and like have like a good rapport with them, then they'll invite you back. Like Ian's been pretty good about like I played there once. And I didn't bring a huge crowd. I had like 2 or 3 friends come, but I booked with 2 other artists and they had a few people come and it was, it was fine. Like, and so we're going to put together like a bigger show in February where we're all collaborating together. So yeah, but it's, I like the space there though. It's a nice room.
It is a nice room.
Great for like songwriters and mellow, intimate stuff because it's tiny.
Like not full bands.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't have a full band.
Most meaningful song you've written ever.
Ever? Oh my. That's not, it doesn't have to be from the album.
It doesn't have to be from 1,000 Dreams. No.
Okay. Wow, that's such a hard question. There might be 2. I mean, Wanderlust, the last track on 1,000 Dreams, that's a pretty meaningful song for me because I have like a bad travel bug. Like I used to constantly need, like I'm always wanting to go out and venture forth. And that song is essentially about that. And I haven't traveled in the past like 2 years because I've really been sort of like trying to put down some roots here with my music stuff. So it's interesting to revisit that song, like the words and stuff, because I think I wrote it at a time when I was like constantly wanting to just go out and travel. So that's pretty meaningful, but I also, I don't know, I've been writing some newer songs since I got this electric guitar earlier this year. And I wrote one, I finally finished writing it like, I don't know, 4 months ago maybe. Well, there's a couple. I wrote one called Beautiful Ride. There's actually a music video for it on YouTube. It's like a live in studio, but it hasn't been recorded yet. And then I wrote one called Hurricane. I don't know. I had an experience like, I don't know, with a guy and sort of like got my heart broken, but not real. It was just kind of like, I can't even describe it, but I really felt the song. Like I really felt like when I play it, I like really am like, wow, this song really essentially is like what happened. And I feel it every time. Like every time I play it, I'm kind of like, I'm like, this is what I was feeling in that moment. Like some songs I'll be taking like snippets of emotions from various things, but this song was really like
about that experience.
Really about that experience and like everything about it. So
wow.
Yeah. It hasn't been recorded yet, so
oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm going back into the studio actually next week. Next week? Yeah. A week from tomorrow. But not to record an album. I'm gonna record a cover song, I think.
Oh.
I know. I was gonna record Beautiful Ride actually, and then I don't know, I've been performing shows here and I've gotten like, people are like, because I do these kind of moody covers of like classic rock songs, and I don't know, people have really been digging them, and so and they were like, you should maybe record a cover song, because sometimes like if someone listens to like a cover song, then they're like, what else has this artist done? Like if it's a really cool cover or like a different variation. So I don't know, but it's a lot of money to go into the studio, and I'm like, I want to put it into my own music. But then, you know, but if I'm gonna release, you know, like single songs like that, maybe that's my first step in the new year is, like I do a cover song instead of my original stuff and just see what happens.
What are you gonna cover next week?
It's either going to be, I'm still debating between either Red House by Jimi Hendrix or Going to California by Led Zeppelin. The Going to California one I do on the keyboard, and the Jimi Hendrix one would be on the guitar. But I mean, I'm going to have like other instruments in the record. Like it's going to be a produced recording.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm a little nervous going into the studio again when I'm not working with the same producer that I did with my album, because I loved him so much and like we got along really well, and so I'm kind of like, I'm going into this new space, like I haven't seen it yet, and I'm going in and it's like I have one day to like record this one song, and like I haven't really, well, I know the person, like he's a really talented guitarist here in LA actually, and his friend has a recording studio. I trust him and everything, but it's not like I don't trust, but it's like you know, it's like you spend all this time, like over a year working on this whole thing, and it's like I trust Chris, and like, you know, like I just spent like all my time working with him the past year to record, and then we did like some live in studio videos and used the recording space there. You just get used to your thing. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go into this sort of unknown.
Like new, unknown.
Yeah, but I'm like, and I like to be very productive and efficient when I'm in the recording studio. And it's like, when I was there, it's like I would go in and be like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what this, you know, like feel comfortable here. And this is going to be a new space. Like, I don't know what their keyboard is like, you know?
Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, I'm like, I don't know what kind of keyboard you guys have. Like, I don't want to lug my Yamaha into the recording studio. I mean, he said they have a keyboard there. If I do the Led Zeppelin song, I mean, otherwise, if I do Jimi Hendrix, like, I'll just be bringing my PRS guitar with me and use that. But yeah, so it's going to be one of those two songs, I think. And then, you know, if I like the way it turns out and I like working with them at this space, then maybe I'll do like an original song and release that a bit later in the spring or something. But I'm just gonna try the whole like just release some like singles. Yeah. Because I haven't done that before, and I don't have enough money to record a full-length album again. So
yeah, maybe that's why everybody's just doing single by single.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot, and the only reason I could afford it was because I had a full-time job working at a school. You know, like I was like, I just put any extra money and I hadn't been traveling. Like I used to take a trip every summer, and I really just was like, use the money for this instead. And he was nice and had me on kind of like a budget rate, so it took a longer time to record because he kind of did it when he had the time. And I was like, that's fine, you know, but it's still expensive. I mean, it's a long process, and it's a lot of money to get 10 songs.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
And you have to like listen to them, and it's such a good learning experience though, and it's like you learn a lot like working with producers, and like I had worked with another producer before that who was really nice, but he also kind of had his own vision for the songs. Like I recorded an EP with him when I used to play in this duo called Wisps and Willows that was like me and the violinist together, and we recorded like a 5-song EP, and it sounded great and everything, but it just wasn't, I was like, it's not as quirky as I want it to be. Like I was just like, I want some more like unique, like he was very much pushing it to kind of be this more like traditional like drums, guitar. I mean, one of them, the Acrobat, ended up being like a kind of cool track, but it was just it was like so polished or something. I can't even describe it, but he was a really nice guy, but I just didn't really feel like I had a lot of like say so in the songs. And I also kind of rushed the process a bit. Like I was like, we gotta release it on this day, because like I had put together this big show in San Francisco, and you know, it's like, I don't know, the whole thing has been, all of it's been like a learning process. It's like kind of like I tend to throw myself into things and, you know, make some big mistakes and like hit these big bumps in the road, but then I learn from it, and I'm like, okay,
that's life.
Lessons learned, moving on, you know.
Life lessons.
Yeah, so it was nice to find this. And the second time when I went in to record, I was very careful. Like I met with the producer before, and we got to like chat and kind of see if we were on, you know, could vibe well together. Yeah, and I liked that about him. And he would ask me like, okay, what are some artists that you like their sound of? Like show me, you know, and it was just a conversation, and we were constantly having conversations about the songs. Like a few of the songs we reworked, and they were like I wrote them on the guitar originally, like Wanderlust and Paper Moon, we reworked them on the piano. And that was a new process for me too, to like cut stuff out of a song that I had originally written or rewrite it in a different way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that was great, you know. I was like, oh, we can do that. Because like my friend came in and recorded this beautiful accordion part for Paper Moon, and I listened to it, and I was like, well, my guitar part sucks. I was like, this is really nice, and I was like, I don't really like the folksy kind of, you know. And he was like, well, we can like let's redo it. And so then I kind of went home and thought about like how I could redo it on the piano. Yeah, and so it's like a different, yeah. So and Wanderlust ended up just being this beautiful, like echoey ballad, and it was originally like more of like a folky kind of like finger picking song. It was a little bit out of my skill range as far as like some of these songs, like sometimes on the guitar I'll write a song and I'm like, this is actually kind of hard for me to play, you know. It's it ended up being this whole other thing.
That's so funny. That's so interesting.
Yeah, but it's a fun process.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah.
So what's going on next for you this in 2019?
As far as music goes?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to continue.
Or personally. I know. It's fine. It's your interview.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to continue. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself about, like, making goals for the new year. Like, I'm, you know. It's just the whole thing. Like, I was thinking about it today, and I was like, oh, like, there's all this, like, stuff around like New Year, and I'm like, like I don't want to like think about it, you know. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to release some new stuff. You know, go into the studio and release some singles and maybe do the cover song thing. I'm looking forward. I really want to collaborate with more musicians in 2019. I mean, I'm still relatively new to LA. Like I've only been here since August, so I'm just looking forward to kind of continuing the journey. As far as that goes. So yeah, getting into the studio, you know, playing some shows and collaborating with some other artists. And I'm also going to start getting into the world of performance art as a contortionist. Ooh. So that's a new adventure for me. But so I have this yoga practice that is a little bit insane. Like I'm a bodily anomaly. I mean, I can do some pretty crazy shit with my body. Wow. And people in LA like to watch that stuff, and you can make good money doing it. And I have to make some money. So and it's, you know, and it's fun actually to think about putting together an act and a costume and go up on the stage. And so I've been putting together an act actually that uses my vocal looping and the contortion, which is a pretty unique thing. Like most people just have like a track that they put in. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing like a contortion. I actually did the performance for the first time in front of an audience a few weeks ago, and it was pretty well received. So I'm gonna just go with it and collaborate with people and see if I can get in at some variety shows. But I have never done anything like this before. Like it's all a really new process, but I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to use the music and the yoga into one kind of act, you know? And it is a unique thing. Like I did have one entertainment company already that was interested in it, because like a friend that I met at a songwriters night was like, oh, I know this guy that's in entertainment, blah, blah, blah. This is what happens in LA. Like people network and they're like, refer you here. So that's an exciting and new adventure for me, like very new. Like the yoga I've done for a long time, the music I've been doing, but yeah, to kind of like merge into this whole artistic performance kind of thing is new. But I almost feel like it's the best use of my talents.
That's super exciting.
It's like way more unique what I can do with my body, like as far as that goes. And I'm like, dude, if people want to pay me to put my feet on my head in a like balancing on my hands, please do. Like, you know.
I mean, if you can do it, then do it.
I mean, it's, you know, it is a little crazy what I can do with my body, but I mean, but you have to like train, but there's that's a whole other world. So it's like you have to kind of go in. Like I took an advanced contortion class at the Cirque school. It was pretty intense actually. I was like, whoa, these people are no joke. Like they're they will train you to do these things.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I was already pretty flexible, but yeah, there was some hip opening stuff, and like, the advanced contortion class is no joke. I'm like, if anyone wants to learn, you know, contortion or like handstands, like go to the circus school. Like they know what they're doing, which is cool. So yeah. So that's kind of my new adventure for the new year. I'm actually gonna release the video tomorrow of. Tomorrow. I was like, well, it's unlisted on YouTube, but I had someone film the performance. So I'm just gonna put it up on YouTube tomorrow. Oh my god! And just be like, if people want to watch it, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow, right when you put it up. I'm just gonna do it. I think just sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. I'll just be like, hey, I've got this thing now on YouTube.
I'm doing this thing.
Help me. You know, like if you want to see what I'm gonna be up to in the new year. Here's where it is. I put a few little clips on my Instagram here and there of me like practicing it at home. But this is the first time I had someone film the whole. It's like a 10-minute performance. So, wow. Yeah, because it takes a while to layer on like the beats and the harmonies and stuff. So it's like I do that at the beginning, and then I have the whole like the performance part in the middle, and then I have more singing at the end, and then it's over. So.
Don't you have to like warm up your body and like throughout the performance?
Well, you just warm up before. I warm up before, and I start out with like I'm wearing like a hoodie to try to keep my body like warm, and it's kind of like it's meant to be sort of like a disguise at the beginning, and then, you know. But yeah, I just warm up. I have to warm up like right before the performance. Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you just kind of have to like. Hope for the best once you're in it. But when you're, I mean, you do. I mean, hopefully I won't eat shit, you know? For sure. Hopefully I can reach back and grab my ankles, you know? Hopefully I can do the things.
Give me so much anxiety.
But the thing is like, when you train for stuff like that, and like I do like a lot, I do extra work outside of like my, you know, the yoga studio and like practicing. I mean, your body knows the shapes well because you practice them every day. You have to practice them every day. Like people are like, how do you get like so flexible? And I'm like, well, you have to maintain it. Like there's stuff you have to do on a daily basis to maintain the flexibility, or you can't for sure do those things. So and hopefully I'll train a bit more at the circus school this year too. I mean, it's expensive. I can't really afford to pay constantly, but so that's my new adventure for 2019.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna play for us?
I was just gonna play Devil's Game, I think. Okay. It's my favorite. So cool. Yeah. Clothes. never